Selling. Selling is taking something and being able to relate it to another person and how it applies to them. That's pretty broad definition. But I'm talking to you about it today because I want to talk to you about how to sell better. And the way you sell better is becoming more, essentially becoming more empathetic, being able to see the other person's point of view, seeing their situation, and then being able to tailor your approach, your words, your writing, your presentation to that person's situation. Ultimately, it really does kind of come. A majority of it, I think by 50% of it, comes down to caring for the well-being of the person you're trying to sell. Because ultimately, whatever it is that you're selling, whether it be to jump off a building or take a certain medication, you think it's for their well-being. This is not to say that it is necessarily the right thing to do. I said that jumping off the building to be facetious and dark, but really that's what it is. You have something in mind for somebody, or you have something in mind for the way you view the world, and you're trying to get someone else's viewpoint of it and try to sell it to them. Like, one of the hardest things to sell, this is just the truth of it, is diet and exercise. Nobody likes pain, which is exercise, and very few people enjoy restrictive eating. Okay, they don't the desire to not eat, right, to be stopped from eating, like being told what to eat, right? And so a lot of what drives those two things to sell those two things effectively is, number one, the one thing that you basically don't have a whole lot of control over is that the person wants it. So a lot of the time when someone walks into a gym and they're going to buy a membership, they are interested in changing something in their life or improving something in their life about fitness and health. It could be doesn't always isn't always diet. It's not always diet, but it typically is. It's diet and exercise are coming in because they basically pre-qualified themselves by walking in the door, right? So you kind of have to understand it. Whereas, let's say people who are walking past the gym and then someone tries to sell it to them, generally that's the first qualifier. The second qualifier is being able to essentially, there's lots of different ways to do this, but the way I like to talk about the most is fear. Because there is nothing more powerful than fear when it comes to taking action. This is the reason why, when you look at sales for things, this is the reason why at our gym we have these days called closeout, where we have specials that run only for those days, or maybe 2 days during that day, is because people take action when there is scarcity. Nintendo's does well with like the Nintendo Switch. They make a limited amount because they build this scarcity, because Nintendo's a big company. They can borrow the money and sell a bunch of Nintendo Switches, but they most likely purposely restrict the supply to increase the demand. And anyways, going back, so what that does when something's going to run out, there's this fear that you're going to lose, right? But that's the scarcity fear. But then there's also the other fear of the health fear. Now, and this is something I learned recently that's kind of interesting. Very few people are afraid of dying. I mean, people don't want to die, but people don't take action because they're going to die. Rarely. Because a lot of the time, no one's that close to dying. If you're walking into a gym and thinking about buying a membership, you're not that close to dying. You're close as just about everybody else in that facility, right? You're not on your deathbed, right? So a lot of what you have to tap into when you're trying to essentially scare someone into action is you have to tap into some very important beliefs of the person. And a lot of that only happens in conversation. Why did you walk in here to the first place? Now, in writing and copywriting, you don't have someone in front of you, so you kind of have to know who you're writing to from the outset. That you have this broad group of people that you're writing to, or for a promotion, and so they have a certain demographic, a certain age, they're either male or female or both, a certain psychographic. Whereas when you meet someone in person at the gym, this person is expressing that they want to lose weight or change their body, and your job as a salesperson is to essentially, make them afraid, I guess, in a very manipulative way, to change, right? And I know that sounds terrible, but again, I'm talking about selling in the very, how do you say? And selling can be used for the powers of evil. This is just a fact of the matter, and I'm talking about selling for the powers of good. And in this case, selling a gym membership and trying to instill fear into somebody is One way is, well, the one I just said, which was like, losing, the membership deal is going to end. It's kind of, it's trickery. It's not exactly it's something you want to use at the very last moment. You can't overuse it. Actually, you can. People use it and it's effective. So that's why that's always going to be there. But when it comes to scarcity for someone's well-being, a lot of it has to do with sort of understanding why they walked in the first place. And I'm talking to you right now. I'm just thinking out loud, and what I'm thinking about is like trying to like look at their face, look at their facial expressions, and just not be so focused on trying to sell them a membership or sell them a personal training or sell them whatever you're selling. It's not about selling them anything. It's really just trying to get to know the person and trying to get to know about them, as a person. With this is not so easy to do, especially when you work for commission. Is that this actually, honestly, the truth is that the best salespeople are they're good at this. They're able to talk to the person and have these two minds going. They have the hungry, ambitious salesperson that needs to make sales, and then they have the really, I want to know who you are. Let me see if I can have a solution to help you, and that's essentially where that front needs to be up front, and there, because that people feel that, right? And I hope by now, 6 minutes into this video, you can tell that's sort of what I'm trying to pitch and sell to you, is that you have to really try to put on a person's shoes, metaphorically, not literally, and walk in it, Think about like, what is it that they goes through their day, and kind of, and a lot of it, if you really listen and you really pay attention, you can kind of feel it, right? The common customer in the fitness industry is the mom who's over 35 years old, and or maybe older, and then they have kids, and they just don't have time. They're working mom, and there's a lot that they're afraid of. It's actually pretty consistent, taking care of their family, being able to cook healthy, be a good example. Kids with, all those are important things. Being desired by the husband, being healthy for the family. These are very important things, and you don't have to. And the thing is about when it talks about being empathy, is trying to sort of see which of those things are sort of the pressing pain. So you find that pressing pain, and you basically pour salt on it, right? Ultimately, that sounds terrible, I know, but really what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the person to act, but you're trying to get the person to act in a way that is in their best interest, because ultimately they do want to change, right? Here's a really personal example that I have. Like, I want to make $1 million a year, right? That's the income that I want to make. I actually want to make $2 million a year. And I think I want to make 10 million. I'm just not sure yet. See? So again, I already have a problem deciding how much I want to make, but it's not just about the money, it's about building something. So I'm basically kind of wrapped up in my own head about this business that I want to build, or this thing that I want to build, this life I want to build for what I want to do. And it's being able to, I know what I need is I need a coach, or I need mentors to help me along the way. And mentors are expensive, $10, $20, $30, $40,000. And a lot of the time it's, it's essentially find the right person for the right fit. I'm getting distracted already because I'm getting into myself about this one thing. But anyways, I want to accomplish this goal, right? Which is $1 million business, $2 million business, whatever, right? And I need the right coaching and guidance. And I know the coaching and guidance is not just about coaching. So just so you understand this is the thing they don't tell you about coaching, at least in business. It's not about coaching. It is about coaching, but it's also about connections. Because think about this. When you pay $100,000 for a coach, $25,000 for a coach, that already puts you at a certain level of person, and you're working with a certain level of person typically, and they are connected to people of certain people, which allow you to sort of like, you become part of a different game. And that's kind of, it's called, I've heard this called pay to play, and it's learning and understanding this, is that there is no way around the fact that if you want to, sell well and do well, I'm getting off topic here, is you have to pay, you have to pay the price. And as a salesperson trying to sell personal training, memberships, just selling stuff, the price you pay is essentially not thinking about yourself. It's about thinking about the other person. I know it seems all real jumbled, and to me it sort of makes sense. The problem is, I'll talk about a tomato, and then I'll talk about a bottle of water, then an iPad, and for some reason in my head it all makes sense. And I try and that's why I make these videos, because I'm trying to connect these things. And I don't know. I hope you found this video helpful. This is a little bit. I want to make more videos on selling and marketing, because that's actually one of my interests. I've been making some videos like motivation, maybe, and like personal development, and those are important. And I like those things, but the reality is I have to like narrow my focus on the thing that I'm working on currently in my life. And I kind of want to do more of that. So leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video. See you later.